Greetings, pet lovers. Brigid here with First Street Pets, and today we're going to talk about communication in your pet sitting business. Communication, or lack of, is a problem in every aspect of life, as everybody knows, in your personal relationships, friendships, in your marriage, in your family, and in your business. So today I'm going to talk about 3 key areas where clear and concise communication is critical to the success of your business. Number 1, scheduling. You would think this is a no-brainer, as clients call you and give you the dates that they need you to travel, you put them in your calendar, and you're all good. But in my over 25 years as a professional pet sitter, I have seen it all. You wouldn't believe the scheduling mix-ups that have happened, and some of them near disasters. I've had a husband give me one set of dates and his wife give me a different set of dates. So they obviously didn't agree on when they were going out of town. I've had folks call and say, okay, I'm on my way out the door, when they never actually scheduled. So thankfully, I've always had a policy of clients checking in with me right before they go. Another one is they'll give me dates like I'm leaving on Friday, May 6th. But then Friday isn't the 6th, it's the 7th. So is it the 6th or the 7th? So they're just looking at the calendar wrong and getting the dates mixed up. One of the worst mix-ups I had was many years ago with a client with a large parrot. And apparently they thought they scheduled dates. I didn't have any dates for them in the calendar. They went out of town. I got a call from a contractor working in the home 4 days later saying, isn't someone supposed to be taking care of the bird? Thankfully, my card was on a magnet on the fridge, so he had the wherewithal to call and inquire about someone taking care of the bird. Fortunately, he had a full bowl of food and water, so they were dirty by the time I got there, but he was okay. But something like that could have been a terrible disaster. Establishing a system of scheduling, as I talked about in my last video, is super important. My recommendation for resolving this issue is to use an app. A lot of times people starting out, you don't have a very big budget, you're just using your Google Calendar or whatever calendar comes with your phone or your tablet. That's okay to an extent, but an app is so much better because the clients can go in there and schedule their own dates. You can confirm them. It gives them the responsibility, and if they're not sure what dates they gave you, they can always go back in and check. And if you think something looks off, like sometimes somebody will schedule something, but there's a day missing in the middle or something weird like that, or they just schedule the first day and the last day, then I can check in with them and clarify what those dates are. I also do this in text. The app that I use, Time to Pet, has a texting feature, so all those messages are saved in the app. I like that because, again, I have backup communication. I've said, oh, are you leaving on the 6th or the 7th? They'll write back, I'm leaving on the 7th. So you have a record of all that, and you know exactly what time you're supposed to be there, and it avoids those potential problems. Number 2, payment. We all love what we do. We wouldn't do it if we didn't love it, but let's face it, we're here to make a living, and getting paid in a timely manner and accurately is very important. Firstly, setting prices that meet your needs and setting policies around how and when payment is accepted are very important aspects of your business that I talk about in my last video, setting boundaries. But even if you do that and think you're clear on that, there can be a surprising amount of confusion around payments and pricing, which can lead to you losing money. So one of the most common issues that I run into is just confusion about how pricing works. For example, it seems clear to me, but of course I'm the one creating the pricing, so I know what it's supposed to mean. I've had clients think that a once a day payment means more than once a day, or that they can divide that 30-minute visit into 2 15 minutes or 3 10 minutes or something like that, thinking that one payment can equal 2 or 3 visits. I've also had clients go the other way where they think that for an overnight charge, I charge by the night. That's how I count them. And they may think they need to pay for the night and the day, so they'd actually be paying twice as much as they need to. So sometimes there's just confusion about how the pricing works. I think it is kind of funny when folks want to pay less because they want the visit to be shorter or they think it can be divided into a couple visits. I think about the examples of a lot of other business, like say a plumber. If they come to your house, it's going to be $80 or whatever it is. There's a set amount for them to come to your house, and then it goes from there based on the time. It's the same for you. You're driving to their home, you're blocking out time for them. It doesn't really matter how long you stay there. There needs to be a minimum charge for the visit, but sometimes clients don't quite understand that. So my number one solution, again, is as with scheduling, using an app like Time to Pet. There are other ones out there. That's just the one that I happen to like and use. When you use the app, it makes your life so much easier. When the scheduling is done, an invoice is automatically generated, and as long as your prices are in there correctly and the dates are in there correctly, the invoice will show an accurate amount. The client can pay with a card through the app, and there you go. That makes it easier for me than having to go to the bank all the time with cash and checks. I do still have a couple people who pay that way, but I really encourage folks to pay through the app. It just really cuts down on mistakes on the pricing, and it's very clear on both our ends what is expected for payment. If you're not ready to use an app at this point, you're going to have to spend some time calculating those charges. Don't count on the client to do it because they will make mistakes. Number 3 is care instructions. I could talk all day about problems I've had with care instructions, but I'll just discuss a couple of really critical things that have happened to me over the years that demonstrate the importance of clear and concise instructions on care for the pets. Now, if it's feeding instructions, care instructions for healthy pets, and they're unclear, it's not the end of the world. If you have dogs and cats yourself, you probably know what their needs are. You know when they need to be let out to go to the bathroom and how much they will eat in a day. When you're dealing with ill pets, on the other hand, elderly pets who may be on some medication, that's when things start to get really critical. Now, I have many years of experience in giving all kinds of medications to animals. I got my original training when I was a teenager volunteering at the Humane Society, and then later I worked there. I went on to pet sit for veterinarians and people who helped further my training. So I'm very comfortable with giving all kinds of meds, whether oral meds, pills, topical meds, subcutaneous fluids, and even insulin shots. But all of those things require a level of skill for you to understand what the usual dosages are, how they are administered, and what to watch for as far as emergencies. If you aren't experienced in this or you're not comfortable, I would recommend talking to your veterinarian, talking to your local shelter, seeing if there's a way you can get some experience with this or some training so that you have a greater comfort level. Thankfully, because I am so familiar with most kinds of medication given to pets in their home, I know when there is a red flag. I had a situation recently where I was caring for a dog, and I arrived on the second day, and the dog had some pills to take daily. They had them in those day of the week pill boxes, and I noticed that the box for that day was empty when the previous day I had seen that there were pills in it. So I figured that someone else had come by and given the medication. I texted the client and they confirmed that because I had had some difficulty, it was my first time meeting the dog, I had had some difficulty giving the medication the previous day. So they had a friend come over and they were like, "Oh, didn't we give you a message that this was going to happen?" I didn't get a message. So it's a good thing that I noticed that. And I think if I had just been getting those pills out of the pill bottle, I may have given the dog a double dose of the medication. So that was a situation where communication, there was a little bit of a breakdown, but fortunately I was able to tell that the meds had already been given, so the dog didn't get double dosed. The one story I remember most vividly and have told a million times was the client many years ago who had a cat on insulin. She left me written instructions saying, "Please give the cat 3 cc's of insulin." Anybody familiar with insulin is cringing right now because you know that would have immediately killed that cat. 3 units, which is the proper dosage, it's going to be somewhere in that area, is many times less than 3 cc's or 3 mLs, whichever term you use, and would have been the proper dosage. And when I told the client this, I said, don't tell other people to do this because if they don't know, they may go ahead and do that. She didn't quite get the seriousness of it. She said, "Oh, I just can't remember what term to use." So understanding those terms and what are the usual normal dosages is super important. So whether you use an app or written instructions for medications or special care, be sure you're really clear. Be sure you talk to the client, especially if it's a new client or they have a new pet or that pet has developed a medical problem. If you're not sure, ask and clarify. Don't just assume that what you think they said is what is expected. If you're not sure about meds, it doesn't hurt to call the client's veterinarian because they will have the information on file. They will be able to tell you exactly what you are supposed to be doing. I hope this has been helpful. Stay tuned for my next video in the Pet Sitter series. I have some exciting news. I heard that Santa is going to be bringing me some studio equipment. So I'll have a better mic for some sound for these outdoor videos. I'll have better lighting and camera for the indoor videos for inclement weather because it is December. We're getting on Christmas here in Northern California. Thank you so much for watching. Would love to hear about your pet care business in the comments. Thank you.